levels associated with this storm that's over the Lubbock County area, making its way into Crosby County. So just wanted to give that update, John, that we are seeing some reports of hail, but it's at best barely getting up to pea size.
Well, that's definitely good news there, Shania. As far as the hail size, hopefully there will not be any larger hail, but again, it's still a fairly good core, but as it tracks onto the east, we'll have better definition on that storm and the heavy rain right along 1294, East Farm to Market Road there, and also around New Deal, back to the east, and that's working its way slowly into Floyd County. Looks like Idalou is the next place it'll see some heavy rainfall in areas to the southwest along the highway, back all the way over along 62. And once again, as we mentioned, it is tracking mostly to the east, so it is headed for Lorenzo, but it's not a storm to be extremely concerned about at all at this point. The warning is the fact that we did have the hail earlier, but it appears to be decreasing in intensity in the New Deal areas where the heavy rainfall is occurring right now. Matt?
Yeah, and the good news, like you just mentioned, John, is we have not had any more landspout reports over the last few minutes, and the hail is still about on track with what it has been. So I think we'll be able to go to jeopardy here when we wrap up our coverage in a minute or so. But we'll continue covering this at KCBD on the roadway. Adam Young is heading more east, staying ahead of the thunderstorm, so he's watching it right there. Then Live View 2 gives you another perspective. You can see those low-hanging clouds that can be that can look concerning. So we're staying out ahead of the storms to see if we do get any more formation of landspouts, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that. So this is a perspective right here. Adam's going up 400. This is a perspective here from Live View 2. That's Natalie and Ruben staying out ahead of the thunderstorm as well, as it's moving off into northeastern Lubbock County. And it did have a gust of 60 miles per hour at the airport. So that verifies the severe thunderstorm warning portion of this. That's issued for the wind and for the hail. And you can still see how it looks like the leading edge of that thunderstorm possibly could see, some of the lowerings there that could try to again form into a landspout. But no additional reports over the last several minutes, John. So that's the good news there. John?
Yes, definitely so, and we'll take another look at Doppler radar here, and then I believe we'll just probably wrap this up and head into jeopardy. But a quick look shows that intense thunderstorm moving over Lubbock County, hopefully decreasing in some potential there as it works its way onto the east, but headed for Petersburg, all the way down East Lubbock along the loop and back towards Acup. It'll continue to make its way. We'll continue to monitor this storm, so stay with us for weather coverage you can count on.
And now joining us here at KCBD.com, and also make sure we get our Facebook Live started again, and also on YouTube. I'll say start again. Keeping an eye on the thunderstorm that you see that prompted the severe thunderstorm warning and is now over eastern parts of Lubbock County, moving into Crosby County. So that's a thunderstorm that, as you head out up past Idalou, and continue easterly toward Rawls, going to have some really heavy rainfall with it. Looks like the hail core may be just north of there. Taking a couple look at some of the live view units that we have out there at this point. Let me see. Adam Young, I believe, was still heading up 400. So we'll look at live view 1 and give you the perspective as he's heading up northward. One thing we haven't had in the past several minutes has been any additional landspout reports. So he's going a little bit more in the northern part of the storm, then a little bit farther to the south. Adam's actually on 40 right now. Meanwhile, checking where, let's see, Reuben and Natalie are a little bit farther to the north. They're actually up just northeast of Abernathy. Looks like they're also kind of on the northern edge of the storm right there. So two different perspectives. Going over to, this is, you can see right here, live view 2. And we also have in live view 3, let's see, Julio, let me see where he was headed. So let me get right here. And
I can chime in, Matt, with the new update from the Weather Service.
Yeah, go right ahead.
For the most part, that storm that we had over the shallow water area that was producing some decent hail, that has officially moved off to the east, northeast of Idalou as of right now. Good news is no reports of new land spouts, but the storm is still capable of producing that quarter-size hail at the largest. The only reports that we saw here in the Lubbock County area, or at least a physical photo of, one of them was at Ursuline and MLK. That didn't even get up to the size of a quarter. It was closer to around pea size, maybe dime size at best. So it's still capable of producing hail. The 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are still a potential, and it's making its way into the northwestern part of Crosby County. So just off to the northwest of the Rawls area, moving over 62 as of right now. Otherwise, there is still another strong storm just southeast of Tahoka, so in the Lynn County area. That's really the next storm that we're kind of having that concern with off to the south, and I'll kind of show that on radar as well, referring to this one that is just off to the southeast of Tahoka.
And the other thing that probably more than anything from the storms that we've seen out there is just the visual presentation of what these look like. We can go over to Max 2 and show you that this is looking from Avenue A off to the north and east. And trust me, phone lines have been lighting up here. It's like we're giving concert tickets away. It was reports of, and we appreciate those, reporting saying, hey, I'm seeing a tornado here. Well, it was landspouts and funnels that many folks saw. This is now looking back toward Idalou. We're looking from 98th and University back to the north and east, and then over the southwestern part of the city. So definitely the clouds certainly are dark and can look really concerning. I want to show you why, rightfully so, there were those concerns a little while earlier. We can go over to the streaming computer and show you that we've received a whole lot of photos of the funnel. And I think a few of these may actually show the connection down to the ground of the landspout. KCBD.com/first alert. And also Paul here shows the size of the hail, a little bit larger than quarters, so about 1-inch diameter hail. That was in shallow water when the storm was there. And here's a second perspective of it. And, you know, yesterday we were talking about that massive hail that really was impressive, 5-inch hail, and it was DVD size, which John actually showed what a DVD looks like and what a disc looks like. This is more recent when you can say we have AirPod-sized hail. So, but these are AirPods, not AirPod Pro. If they were Pro, that's when you know we're getting into the large size hail right. That's also a nice case right there. Looks like a leather AirPod case. Another perspective here that Mickey has of both some of the hail falling, but also that landspout which definitely looks really concerning. When you see that spinning like that just west of your location, this may be the best vantage point of it. And again, you can see certainly some of the rotation there, but this is not the strength of the big supercell tornadoes that we get really concerned with. Marble-sized hail, a few to nickel-size. Denise shared this in the Hillcrest Country Club area. Meanwhile, on the east side of Lubbock from Jessica, looking toward that storm as well. You can see some of the lowering right there. This was, again, this is at 50th and County Road 1140. You can see the funnel or funnels, plural there, that were visible here. Let's see, this is, it says West 50. I think that's where they're submitted from, because that looks like downtown Lubbock right there. But nonetheless, we've received so many of these photos. Another vantage point right here from Hillcrest Country Club of that funnel coming down. Again, this is all earlier when the storm, that was closer to shallow water to the northwest and then to the north. Another perspective here from the Lubbock VA Clinic, that's off 4th Street, looking to the northwest. Let me see, there was another video that we showed earlier on the 4 o'clock newscast, and Eric shows here just how much the funnel's coming down right there. Another perspective here from, that was a Tractor Supply that's off of North Frankfort at the Clovis Highway. Was submitted right there. So it was, most of these reports were generally just west and northwest of Lubbock. And when we say, you know, these are not the same kind of storms that you'd be really concerned with, like supercells, it's also evidenced by we don't have any reports of damage from this storm. So like that. So just want to be clear what we did see, what we did not see. There's no tornado warning from it. Because, and this was several years back, that the National Weather Service here changed the policy to say, you know, when we get land spouts, we're not going to issue a tornado warning, because you get that warning, you think, oh, here comes a really bad storm, like we saw over the past several nights. We've had tornadoes across the area. This is at Amherst. These Mamadas clouds, which show a lot of turbulence in the atmosphere. We have a turbulent atmosphere. We just don't have all that much instability, enough for some 1-inch hail. And you can see so many of these photos and videos that have been submitted. Thank you so much to everyone. Another perspective of the funnel here a little while earlier. When I backed out there, just reset. Great problem to have is we have so many visuals of this. It takes a while to scroll through all of these. Let me get reset back to where there was a video that we got in a little while earlier that gave a different vantage point that I think was pretty good. I think it's the next video down here. Let me see. So, I don't think it was that one. I think it may have been this one. This was between FM 179 and Research Boulevard out near Reese Center about an hour ago. Ed shared this one. Yeah, this is the perspective that shows that spinning, and you can see the column making it down there to the ground. And again, this is not why a severe warning would be issued. It was the 1-inch hail and the 60-mile-per-hour wind. What's the update on as far as the warnings status, Shania?
As of right now, I guess kind of good news for the Lubbock area. They actually clipped it. So they made the range that the warning was covering a little bit more isolated to the northwestern part of Crosby County. It's still in effect for those same hazards as far as hail up to the size of a quarter, and then wind speeds capable of, or wind gusts capable of getting up to about 60 miles per hour. And the expiration on that warning, I think they had it until 5. We'll see if they wind up.
Hang on just a second here. There, I'll let you take control of it now.
No, you're good. We'll see if they wind up extending that, but I do think as of right now, it's only until 5. They haven't mentioned if they're going to let that expire, if they think it's going to continue to die down in intensity, but when we're looking at the radar, you can actually see it is kind of picking up, at least that hail core in the middle of that storm, kind of in the middle of just north of Lorenzo and Rawls, but right in the middle of that, you can see where that intensity is starting to pick back up compared to seeing the purple color now on there compared to just the reds that we had when it was passing over the northern portion of Idalou.
We can take a look at our live crews in the field once again, and Live View 1 meteorologist Adam Young is heading east on 40, so he's staying out near the leading edge of that thunderstorm right here. That's his current perspective. And also some welcome rainfall. It was nice last night. At least parts of the area got some pretty good rainfall from the thunderstorms early this morning that and we had some severe warnings out there, but again, nothing all that powerful this morning. May have woken you up because just how loud it was as that thunderstorm, the series of storms made a lot of noise. We can now go over to a live view 2 and show you Natalie Reyna and Ruben Villarreal were in closer to Abernathy. They're coming back down I-27 right now. And you see that cloud structure, the mammatus clouds. That's a sign of a turbulent atmosphere. That on its own doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a whole bunch of severe weather, but it's often a sign of an atmosphere that would support that. One thing, being outside today, it was nice with the temperature in the 60s for much of the day, showed you that it's cooler, so not just a whole lot of instability out there. You can see they're coming through Abernathy right here, actually making the curve right through, right to the right there. Actually, they're coming up on New Deal, aren't they? Nonetheless, they're headed southbound here on I-27. And the other thing, there's been some ponding on the roadways from just the good, healthy downpours. Certainly welcome to see that. Now I can see right here where they're going through the underpass right there. Yeah, they're in Abernathy, so they're on the northern edge of Lubbock County. I always forget the street number it is that divides Lubbock and Hale County and Abernathy. When I drive through there, I remember where, well, the sign tells you where it is, but nonetheless, they're into northern Lubbock County right now, coming out of Abernathy on their way to New Deal. Then we have Julio, who's, I believe, a little bit farther south and east. He's actually out to the east. Julio's pulling into Lorenzo right now, and some of the heavy rainfall there as well. So we're keeping a close eye on this thunderstorm that certainly was, concerning as it rolled through Lubbock, just with the visuals of it. And actually forgot, and I know, do you have any questions there in the chat, Shania, to reply to?
I was responding to them as they were typing them.
Oh, you're direct message. You're getting right back to them that way too. Cool.
Yes, but
Shania's on it.
I can read some of them out loud in case some of the other people, some of our other viewers listening have the same question. So Tina asked if Lubbock was under a warning. No, we are not currently under a warning. We did have a warning about 30 minutes ago. They just recently removed us from that polygon and isolated it to the northwestern portion of Crosby County, including the communities of Rawls, Cone, and Lorenzo. So that is where that current warning is right now, in effect until 5 p.m. And we'll, of course, keep you updated if the Weather Service decides to extend that. Another question that came from Wonder Sue. Any hail yet? Southeast. I'm assuming she means southeast Lubbock. No, we didn't have any specific reports from southeast Lubbock. Most of them were within the shallow water area, which would be considered northwest Lubbock. If y'all have any questions, I'll respond in the chat, but I can also read some of them out loud.
Yeah, thanks for responding to those. Since we're here on KCBD.com, on Facebook and YouTube, going to make a wild request here, Kevin. Can you actually take camera 4 and spin it around right? I don't even know if you have a quick recall where you can do that, because we have students from South Plains College who came in on a rocking and rolling severe weather day. I was going to try to show them on camera if you're able to punch them up. They didn't know this was going to happen, but when you're in Billy Alonso's broadcast class, anything can happen. So this also shows you that it's not overly intense if we're going to show you this real quick. So I don't know if we're able to punt. Look at that right there. They came in on a day like this. So just wanted to show you that real quick. And I believe one of Billy Alonso's students just walked in to anchor the newscast, or is that not correct?
Oh, I was Billy.
Okay, Christy had Billy, so.
Billy
and we can come back to radar now.
Sparks got me my internship.
Okay, so there you go. So Billy Alonso's class is here. Mr. Sparks from South Plains also. Christy mentioned, got her internship at KCBD, and look at that. So, and we'll show some levity anytime we can show that things are not. It's not like we have tornado warnings out there or anything like that. But we are getting ready for our newscast here at 5 o'clock. So we'll keep the radar up on the stream here for the next couple of minutes. We'll gather some other things, and just about 3 minutes away from News Channel 11 at 5. So we'll be on KCBD, also right here at KCBD.com on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back with you here in just a few minutes.
coverage you can count on. This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 5.
The First Alert Weather Team is tracking storms crossing the South Plains. We want you to know this is a land spout, not necessarily a tornado, forming from the boundary of a thunderstorm north of Lubbock. It's another day of potentially dangerous conditions across our area. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Our team has been tracking these storms for hours now, with more projected into the evening. Let's go straight to John for a look at what's out there right now. John.
Christy, in case we look at Doppler radar, you can see thunderstorms from Silverton all the way down into Floyd County, back into Crosby County, and all the way down to the Post community. Things have cleared out of Lubbock County, where we had that warning originally, and also some reports of land spouts, as you saw a few minutes ago. And these storms still have the capability to produce these isolated land spouts. They are not going to cause any damage, but they might stir up some dust, look very dangerous as they move and develop with a few of these storms, but no recent reports of it. So when you see those, you can be concerned, but we had no issues so far, not anticipating any issues with those. But hail has been an issue, in fact, and some strong winds. The National Weather Service just reported a wind gust of 68 miles an hour in Rawls, and that was right before 5 o'clock. So this storm is still packing some strong winds. Even see a potential of at least some hail associated with this storm. There's no warning on this storm, by the way, at this point. That is south of Cone and north of Rawls and well northeast of Lorenzo. Nothing in the way of any large hail indicated on our hail tracker back with the core of that storm. So that's good there, meaning should be less than 1 inch in diameter, maybe more in the range of marble size, hopefully even smaller than that. We only had that one report of the 1 inch size hail earlier, making its way through the county of Lubbock and down south around Canyon. Showers, thunderstorms reaching down all the way to the community of Post. A heavy thunderstorm southwest of Post, also tracking east. You probably noticed the trend there. This line continues to make its way to the east across the central and now moving into the eastern South Plains. No watches at this particular moment, no warnings in effect. Moderate showers, Floyd County, eastern areas of Hale County as well, and extending down to the south. As we check current temperature right now in Lubbock, I believe we've got our First Bank and Trust camera. We can show you the clouds outside. Temperatures have been cool this afternoon and rolling into the evening hours, and you can see those clouds 98th and Slide. They look ominous, but again, nothing in the way of strong storms. That strong wind gust in the Rawls community with a north-northeast wind at 15. Some stronger gusts than that as far as going into the evening hours. Showers, thunderstorms, but they will diminish. It looks like all that activity should be moving away from Lubbock, moving into our eastern counties. Temperatures gradually cooling down, and then tomorrow a break from the thunderstorms as we go from the mid-80s, then back to the 60s with scattered thunderstorms Friday, and another chance of thunderstorms hanging in there on Saturday. Temperatures will be cooler going into the weekend. Christine Case.
All right, thanks so much, John. There is another major storm system barreling across the country. Millions are still under the threat of hailstorms and potential tornado outbreaks.
John Robinson.
We'll start with the Doppler radar and show those thunderstorms working their way fairly rapidly onto the east, just about to the Caprock. You see them moving into the southeastern corner of Floyd County, eastern areas of Crosby County, all the way down over the community of Post, which had that large amount of hail and heavy rainfall yesterday, so they're getting doused a little bit, but not on the scale that we had yesterday. Nothing significant. Lubbock are back to the west at this point. Still could be maybe a shower or two, but really all the concentration will be here as it makes its way east, particularly this stronger thunderstorm here near the McAdoo community along Highway 82, it's extending onto the east all the way down to the south just north of Calgary. Looks like that storm's bringing some more rainfall to White River Lake. Good news there, but as it moves into Dickens County, it's going to bring with it some gusty winds. Keep in mind, Rawls had a report of winds of 68 miles an hour just before the newscast, so there's still a potential of some 60-mile-per-hour winds with this, but there's no warnings on these storms. No watches currently in effect, so thunderstorms extend back up in those areas from western Motley County down into Dickens County, all the way down in and around the Post community. Fortunately, just moderate to heavy rainfall, maybe some areas of small hail embedded within this heavy thunderstorm east of Crosby. Now, let's take a look at some of our live view units here. We'll start with live view 1, and this is going to be south of Crosbyton around Farm to Market Road 40 and 651. It gives you a view of what's going on there with Julio. So we're watching those storms to the east from a little bit of a different perspective there, and looking down towards the areas of Post. Keep an eye on that strong thunderstorms there. And again, these individual storms may still produce some hail as they move to the east, and potentially that slim potential maybe of a landspout or funnel, but again, a landspout is not going to cause any damage. As far as looking down towards the Rawls area, going to live view 3, in Rawls, see things very calm there, but you can see the car pulling in. They've gotten some good rainfall once again there, but it doesn't appear to be any problems at all with that in Rawls at this point. And if we go to live view 2, we'll come back here to Lubbock, and we show you with Natalie and Ruben what's going on. And by the way, that's meteorologist Adam Young we just had. You can see not much at all here. We're in good shape here. The storm's down to the south, and mostly sunny skies back in Lubbock after the rainfall, and that brief period of severe weather in our north and northeastern areas that has cleared out of the area in general. So we're in good shape at this particular point. One more quick look at Doppler, and then we'll move on in our weather and give you an idea of what's coming up the next couple of days. But I do want to mention Matt right quick. I almost forgot him over in the corner here.
Yeah, no one puts me in a corner. I'm just kidding, John. Looking over here, I want to show you kcbd.com/first alert. We've received so many photos, and let's see this. Let's get it to play right there. We received so many of your reports saying, look, I'm seeing a tornado. This was a land spout, which you see some of the rotation there, but this was not a supercell storm that was going to produce a whole bunch of damage. But we've received dozens and dozens and dozens of photos. We have many of these submitted already here at kcbd.com/first alert. So, John, it was kind of scary here, but the good news was that was not like a supercell storm earlier, thankfully.
Thank goodness for that. And again, if you have any more photos, kcbd.com/first alert. We'd appreciate you sending those in, and we'll see if we can get them posted. Let's take a quick look at our forecast. The remainder of the time, you're going to find temperatures mild, down in the 40s and 50s over our region this evening. Then tomorrow's temperatures bouncing back up, sunny skies. It looks like a nice day overall for most of the South Plains, and that 7-day forecast indicating the trend coming up with temperatures from 50 to 84, low 50s and 60s coming up on Friday. Some thunderstorm potential though back on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and next week more thunderstorms in our forecast there. Christy and Case.
All right, thank you so much, John.
South Plains, some around Silverton, down approaching the Matador area. Strongest storms down here east of Crosbyton, going into Dickens County around the Dickens community and Spur. These could produce some winds close to 60 miles an hour, maybe a little small hail, and some gusty winds that will continue to make their way to the east, but no warnings.
Okay, thanks so much, John.
And thank you so much for joining us. Nightly News is next.
Have a great evening.